Welcome to PastMaster, the show where we reshape history using our AI narrator as our guide. Will we thrive and survive in the past, or will we be burnt at the witch for being a stake?
Burnt at the witch at the stake.
Oh my god, I still clearly haven't slept. Will we survive and thrive, or will we die a horrible, gruesome death? Let's find out. With me once again is Tan Parsons.
Hello.
And who's this over here?
I haven't been gone that long.
Keon, it's been weeks.
It has been weeks. It's good to see you all again.
I mean, it's been a week and we batch recorded a couple of episodes.
No, don't give away the secrets.
How was your holiday?
It was fantastic. Thank you.
And the fourth person joining us today is Louise Banham. She is a comedian, a dancer, a Nobel Prize winner. Yeah?
All of those things. All of those things.
Former colleague and mate of ours. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
So, have you listened to PastMaster? Do you know what the hell this is all about?
I do. I've listened to about five different ones. So yeah, I've got a general gist of how it goes.
You got the gist of it?
Don't necessarily think I'm going to be any good at it, but got the gist.
ChatGPT is very friendly to us. He's very, it's hard to lose.
Yeah, well, I've gathered that from the amount you've tried to lose.
So, in terms of the original sort of pub chat, if you could go back in the past, where would you go? Let me throw that to you. What would be your favourite era? You don't have to go to this era now, but what would be your favourite era, and how do you think you would dominate it?
Oh God, it's a tricky one. The thing is, when I did think about this. I was thinking about this a few days ago, and I'd like to go back, but not that far. Yeah. So I don't know, like the Roaring '20s and that sort of thing. That would be quite cool. But I feel like it's not far. It's not far enough back, I think.
Well, no, because it's still like modern era.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry too much about like random diseases.
Yeah.
But you could,
It just feels really glamorous, that whole sort of like Gatsby style.
Yeah.
I'm sure it wasn't like that at all, but that's the.
And would you just because Louise does lots of musical theatre, would you invent one of the popular theatre musical shows and claim it as your own?
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Yeah. Why not? Just take it all back and claim it as mine.
Nice.
I'm still planning to go back to the birth of hip hop in 1973. It's 50 years of hip hop this year, and it all started at a party in New York. That's where it all began.
Right.
So I want to go back to there and just be at that party.
Yeah, fair enough.
When are you going to call it Keon Hop or something?
K-pop.
K-hop.
That's a future game.
Tam, what are you doing right now?
Right now, I'm just making a couple of little secret, well, not that secret, a couple of changes to the starter prompt. So we're going to try and keep Game Master giving us reasonably concise. I've said no more than a couple of paragraphs in its answers, just so it's not sort of burbling on and on. We want to keep the game moving. And I've also entered an identity for Game Master who it's going to try and embody with its answers. But so I know, it knows, but you don't know.
And do we still have points or lives?
We're going with lives, I think, on this occasion.
Okay.
So oh no, hang on. Sorry, we're back to points again. If that's all right.
Well, so I've not listened to a points.
No, I was about to ask the same question, and I'm in it. So yeah, what does the points thing mean?
So a point system. The player starts the game with 3 points. You lose 2 points immediately if the player does something dangerous that would realistically result in you losing your life if this were real and not a game. And you won't get any warning about losing points, and the Game Master will be strict in enforcing consequences to create a more challenging and realistic game experience.
But what
realism
do points,
is something we're struggling with.
What do points mean? And don't say prizes.
That was the word that came into my head.
Yeah.
What does having 3 points or 4 points?
They're lives, aren't they? They're
I think
ultimately lives.
didn't we put it that you could cash points in for in-game? I don't know if I clarified
The player
that.
can trade points for in-game items to help them get to their winning objective.
Which we haven't done yet.
Oh,
If the player runs out of points, the game ends. Deduct points for dangerous, foolish, or silly behaviour.
So it is
been
live.
warned.
So you've just changed points for lives, but it's the same.
Yeah, but you can barter if you're really good and you just drowning in points. You can be like,
Drowning in points.
I'd like a chainsaw, please, and it'll be like, ooh, that'll cost
and
you 5.
also interestingly, because we created this, we had a live system. We did introduce points once, and it was so arbitrary because it's like, well, we got 10 points. What does that mean?
Yeah.
So this is the first attempt to try and simplify that. But then the only test run that we've done was the episode where I basically tried to die. I don't know if everyone's heard that, but back in ancient Egypt. So what we haven't yet done is try to do anything with these points. So feel free to experiment with them.
Right, should we kick off?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Well, hello there. Mighty fine day for an adventure, ain't it? Names are, let's just say, I'm your guide on this wild journey through time, and I'm going to make sure we have ourselves a real good time. Ain't nothing like a good adventure to make life a little more interesting, I always say. Now, let's get you started. What's your name, friend?
Louise.
Louise. Cool. Do you want to add any flavour to it, like Louise the Great or the...
The Conqueror.
Yeah, I'll go with Conqueror.
Louise the Conqueror. Nice.
So Game Master is also embodying a character.
Yeah.
The 10 knows.
Yes.
And do we get points if we guess it correctly?
No, but I think you should still try and guess,
Give it a go.
just for fun.
Okay.
Yeah, if nothing
We'll
else.
hold fire.
Well, ain't that a mighty fine name, Louise the Conqueror? It's got a nice ring to it, like a bell on a Sunday morning. All right, let's get things moving. Yeah. Now, Louise, you got to pick a time period you'd like to travel to. Here's your options: the Renaissance in Italy, the wild gold rush era in California, or the glamorous 1920s in Paris. Or you can just let the winds of time decide, and I can pick a random one for you. What's your fancy?
Or you can pick your own one.
Or we could just ignore that and just do your own one.
Yeah.
Well, because we discussed Shakespeare, didn't we?
Yeah.
So should we go back to the 16th century?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you want to specify? Are you thinking you might go there like when Shakespeare's up and running?
Maybe.
Or
Yeah. I was thinking of going before he was born, and then just trying to
remember
beat him.
Yeah.
But then I realised my knowledge of Shakespeare is not good enough. So, yeah, maybe he's up and running.
Okay.
Maybe I can sort of, grab onto his coattails and
just like get involved.
And get involved.
Become part of his entourage.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, nice.
Have we got a way of winning? Is it not?
So it has.
Oh,
I haven't come
okay.
on to that. So we'll go with Shakespeare in the 16th century. But it says, oh, and just so you know, your way of winning this game for this playthrough will be, let me see here. You got to become a ruler.
Ooh.
A ruler.
You got to become a ruler.
Shit. Okay.
That's right. You got to become one of the most powerful folks in whichever time period you land in. Don't worry. I reckon you'll do just fine.
Just take out Elizabeth I. Yeah, that's
Basically. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Oh, well, alrighty then. Shakespearean England in the 16th century it is. You feel a sudden rush as the world spins around you. When it all finally settles, you're standing in the middle of a busy marketplace. It's always a marketplace.
Always a market.
Or a pub.
Yeah, it is, isn't
whatever,
it?
yeah.
People are hustling and bustling around, speaking in an old-fashioned kind of English. Some are selling fruits, some are selling fabrics, and others are just chatting. You've landed smack dab in the heart of London, 1592, right at the peak of William Shakespeare's career. Doesn't that just beat all?
This guy sounds really out of place in
Doesn't he?
1592 in London. But
Certainly. Now, remember, your goal here is to become a ruler. And in this era, that's going to be a bit tricky, what with the monarchy and all. But don't worry, I have faith in you, Louise the Conqueror. Oh, and here's a neat little tidbit for you. During this time, the theatre was considered one of the lowest forms of entertainment.
that hurts.
Wow.
It hurts.
So did Shakespeare bring it to the forefront?
I don't know. It says,
didn't know that.
It says that mainly it was for the common folk. It's going to be real interesting seeing how you rise to power in this scenario. So what's your first move?
I don't know. Do I get options?
Not on this occasion.
Oh,
No,
shit.
sometimes you do.
Ask it for some options.
Yeah, do you want some options?
Yeah. Let's just. I've never been in
Shakespeare.
1592 before, so I don't know.
Lowest form of entertainment.
I know.
I would not have expected that. I wonder what the highest form of entertainment was. Just like whipping slaves or something.
Just eating like
Yeah.
vast amounts. Just
eating
a big banquet.
protein.
Yeah.
Just chicken off the bone.
Just chicken off the bone.
Just eat. That's all they did.
The highest form of entertainment.
That's just me
They
in
would
my
have had,
life.
like, I don't know, like jesters and
Yeah,
stuff,
fools,
maybe.
maybe.
To-
Right, okay.
Bards and things.
Yeah, titter at.
How is the character sounding so far? Does it match your expectation? Of,
Yeah, I think so. I
Yeah.
think so, yeah.
I've got no
I feel like
vibe
you had an
whatsoever.
accent that you then
You've lost.
decided to
You've
not
lost. Yeah,
do.
you've
Yeah,
dumped it.
I've dumped it because I think it's giving it away too much. It's too sort of obvious if I really pile into the accent. But,
But if we guess it, you can then put the accent on.
I'm gonna try, yeah. I think it would be one of my bad accents, but yeah,
So
definitely.
it's something American.
Yeah.
So you've said, can I have suggestions what to do? Well, that's a fine question, Louise. Right off the bat, you could try a few things. One, you could try to make friends with folks in high places. You know, lords and ladies, people who could get you close to the king. Isn't it the queen at the moment.
Or maybe I would say
Maybe
maybe.
it's the king. Anyway, it says,
Yeah.
of course, you'd need to
Yes.
make sure you could talk the talk and walk the walk, so to speak. Wouldn't want to stick out like a sore thumb.
No, definitely not.
Another option, you might try to make a name for yourself in the theatre. Now, I know what I said earlier about it being lowbrow,
Backtrack.
but folks like Shakespeare were starting to change that. Write yourself a play that really knocks folks' socks off, and who knows where that could lead. Or you could take a different approach entirely, start a business, become a patron of the arts, get involved in politics. There's more than one way to skin a cat, as the saying goes. And it says, but Louise, you got to be careful. The past is a tricky thing, and if you ain't careful, you could end up in a real pickle. Remember, you don't have no friends, no connections in this era. So, what's your first move gonna be?
Let's go for option 2.
Make a name for yourself in the theatre.
Yeah, why not?
Do you want to add any flavour to it? What sort of thing have you got in mind?
I'm gonna write something that no one's ever heard before.
Okay.
None of this sort of general nonsense that you get from Shakespeare. It's gonna be bigger.
You're going to
better.
plagiarise that they won't, because obviously they won't have
Tempted,
heard
yeah,
of it.
no, tempted. I could try and maybe I don't know the order in which he wrote plays.
No.
I was just thinking if I could take something and then rip it off, but
I think The Tempest was his last one. That's the
Oh,
only thing I
really?
know. I don't know if it's considered a great one. It's a little bit magical, isn't it?
yeah,
It's a bit whimsical.
Yeah, I don't know.
Could just be like, I'm going to write a play called Romeo and Juliet and just see if it lets you.
Yeah, okay, go for that.
What, Romeo and Juliet?
Or you do like, the Phantom of the Opera.
Well, yeah, I was just thinking like, how do I zhuzh it up?
Yeah.
Make it more exciting.
Can you invent the musical?
Well, that's what I was thinking because
Yeah.
the thing is, obviously he had music in
That's
his
not
plays,
like a proper musical,
but it's
though, is
not
it?
a musical. And what I want is jazz hands.
Yeah.
in
I was just going to
Shakespeare.
say,
I think-
jazz
What I
hands.
want.
I think you should like bring musical theatre to
Bring-
which of his plays do you think is ripe for a musical makeover?
I don't know. Would it have to be a comedy, maybe like Much Ado About Nothing or something?
Like Macbeth the musical.
Or, not a comedy. But yeah, I actually, maybe it should be something super serious. So yeah, let's do Macbeth.
Macbeth.
Wait, so I'm going to write a musical called Macbeth. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so how about this? 2. I'm going to write something no one's ever heard before. It's going to be bigger than Shakespeare. I want to introduce musical theatre. Macbeth the musical.
Nice.
Okay. Well, ain't you got a head full of ideas? Macbeth the musical, huh? Now that's something nobody in this time has ever thought of. The concept of musical theatre is kind of like trying to explain a smartphone to someone from this era. But it could work. It might just work. Now, you'll need a couple of things. First off, you'll need to write the script and the songs. Okay. Do you have any knowledge about writing plays and music? Second, you're going to need a place to perform and a crew. There's the Rose Theatre not far from here. They might be interested. And it says, lastly, remember, Macbeth ain't been written yet. Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to create this story all on your own. If you play your cards right, you might end up more famous than Shakespeare himself. Ain't that something? Now, get to writing and remember, all the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players. Ain't that a dandy? Shakespeare said that, or will say that, I reckon. Time travel sure does a number on my head.
Right, who is this game master?
Any guesses?
I don't know, like Dolly Parton?
Okay, I'm just going to type question, are you Dolly Parton?
Okay.
Well, now that's a peculiar question, Louise. I sure do love me some Dolly, but I reckon I ain't her. I'm just a simple man who's been around the block a time or two. But enough about that. Let's get back to your adventure. How's that musical coming along?
A simple man that's been around the block. Oh, I've got nothing.
Okay.
Is it like a? No. I'm mixing up block and clock. No, ignore me. I was
Okay.
gonna like rock around the block.
Rock around the block. Are you someone from Rock Around the Block?
No.
I don't know what that is. So yeah, what's your next move then?
My next move. It's already written. I've written it already.
How are you going to perform the music? Are you going to recruit an orchestra?
I'm gonna need a lute.
Plenty of those around them.
Yeah. I don't know what else they've got.
Harpsichord?
Yeah, they might have a harpsichord. I don't know if they would actually. They probably have like a whistle.
Some drums, maybe. Maybe we can make it a rock musical.
Do you need like a cast of players?
I definitely need a cast of players.
Okay.
Now, in your back of your mind, are you trying to thread this to becoming a ruler? Or what's your game plan?
I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to get there, but I feel like if I can get, it's definitely.
Elizabeth.
I'm going to somehow get in front of get in front of her.
And maybe you could make her like laugh herself to death or like cry herself to death because of the emotional power of your musical theatre.
Yeah, definitely.
And somehow sign away her kingdom.
Yeah.
Well, hang on a minute. Like, you're trying to kill her.
Well, I was thinking
in
of
order to
ways
be a ruler,
like,
you need to, or maybe just convince her to give it up.
You could,
you know,
Get her
just
to,
like, do you know
retire.
what? Take a breath, take some time out, go on holiday, get a tan.
Yeah, she did very pale.
Very
wasn't she?
pale, yeah.
You could be like the power behind the throne. You don't have to become queen.
No.
You could be the ruler
I could
by just, mind controlling her.
pulling the strings.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good.
Hypnotize her with the power of rock.
She can be the face of it, but you're the one in real control.
Yeah.
Other instruments around that time, we've got harpsichords,
Yep.
cornets, a sackbut. You know what that is?
A sackbut.
It's an early form of the trombone.
Oh, yeah, I'll have one of those, definitely.
I've never heard of this either. The virginal. It's a smaller rectangular shaped keyboard instrument like the harpsichord.
Ooh,
Virginals, sackbuts. It's all a bit kinky.
Yeah.
a bit weird.
A cittern. It's a string instrument like a lute
Yeah.
with a flat back.
Okay.
Okay, like a square sort of like cigar box guitar type thing. Okay, well, how about this then? I've already written it. I'm going to need a lute, some drums, a harpsichord, a sackbut. Maybe we can make it a rock musical. I definitely need a cast of players. Ultimately, I want to hypnotise the Queen with the power of rock.
Yes.
Happy with that?
Oh,
Yeah, let's go for that.
Well, I've got to hand it to you, Louise the Conqueror. That's quite a plan. A rock musical in the 16th century sure is an ambitious idea. You might just be the person to pull it off, though. First things first, you're going to need to gather up those musical instruments. The lute, drums and harpsichord shouldn't be too hard to find around these parts, but that sackbut, well, it's going to be a bit tricky. It's sort of an early trombone, you see, and it ain't exactly common. As for the cast, well, it sounds
Just
like
use standard trombone. I mean,
just a normal trombone.
yeah. I don't think we're that fussy.
We're definitely not. As for the cast, you're going to have to hold auditions. Remember, folks around here ain't used to the concept of a musical, so it's going to be a new experience for them. You'll need to guide them through it. And that last part about hypnotising the Queen, well, that's got to take some doing. But you're Louise the Conqueror, after all. If anyone can do it, it's you. Now, here's a little fact about this time. Queen Elizabeth I loved music and even played the lute herself. Hey!
Yeah.
There's your in.
Might be something you can use to your advantage. Wink, wink.
I found my principal. I found my Lady Macbeth.
Now, what was the thing? Again, showing my lack of knowledge of history here, but what was like the thing that she wanted the most? Because you could be like, if you play the lute in my band, you'll get it. Like,
I think just like
The Catholic's
ultimate.
dead.
Yeah, the Catholic's dead. Ultimate power.
word has it, it's like spread a rumor that if she was to play in your musical,
Yeah.
she'd get everything she wanted, and actually,
Yeah.
then you segue that across to mind control.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
And it says, all right, Louisical.
Louisical.
Is that the name of the?
All right, Louise, time to get to work. You've got instruments to find, a cast to assemble, and a rock musical to put on. Good luck. So it's kind of leaving it open to you. Yeah, it's not doing all the work for you, is it?
No, I know,
in the
I
old
feel-
days, it was like, yeah, I've got them for you. Here's
Yeah.
all your...
Is that
Definitely.
because we tried to make it more concise?
More I don't know, more realistic, maybe.
Yeah. I guess can I go to was it the Rose Theatre?
Yeah.
Can I
yeah.
can I steal some instruments from there? Do you think they've got
Steal
any? I don't know where else I'm going to get them from.
Now, when are you going to introduce jazz hands? Is that going to be at the
That's
end?
all the auditions. Definitely.
okay.
That'll be it's getting that's the dance audition. They're probably not used to either.
Where do you want to hold them? Just like in the marketplace? Or?
Yeah, let's put on a show as well, because that's how you're going to appeal to the masses, right?
Yeah.
Something, getting them all involved.
Well now, Louise the Conqueror, I see you're ready to kick things up a notch. Stealing is a risky business, though. You get caught, you might find yourself in a real jam. Not to mention, it's not exactly the most honourable route to becoming a ruler now, is it? But I suppose it's your call. If you're determined to take that route, you'll need to be as quiet as a mouse and as quick as a fox. The Rose Theatre is quite the busy place, you know. As for holding auditions in the marketplace, that sounds like a splendid idea. Lots of foot traffic there, you'll surely get plenty of folks interested. Just make sure you explain your idea well, so people understand what it is they're signing up for. Remember, this ain't just any play, it's a rock musical, something unheard of in this time.
So what's your elevator pitch?
Elevator pitch. Oh, it's about being part of something that nobody's ever seen before and using all your skills to bring joy to people's lives.
I think you need to start spreading the rumour as well that the Queen, like, you need to get her in early, otherwise.
Yeah, maybe I say, look, I've spoken to the Queen about it, and she's a big fan. Can I get people on side that way? Are they that gullible?
Possibly.
Yeah,
are you speaking to people like in the marketplace?
Yeah, just go.
Anyone? It's something Queen Liz has said she's interested in.
Yeah, she's bought into the concept. She thinks it's the future of theatre.
It also asks, do you want to reconsider that bit about stealing those instruments?
Do you want to just borrow them?
Just put the word out that Lizzie One says you can use them.
Order of the Queen.
Maybe it's a case of that. Yeah, we need these instruments. Is anyone willing to lend a hand to keep the Queen happy?
Then it becomes a privilege, you know.
By royal
and you'll be
charter.
looked upon favourably. Yeah, she won't chop your head off.
Okay.
Because if you don't, she might.
I'd love it if the next line was like, and the Queen chops your head off.
Well, that's one way to sell it, Louise. By mentioning the Queen, you're sure to get people's attention. They'd be hard-pressed to turn down a chance to impress royalty, wouldn't they? As you start talking to the marketplace crowd, people start looking at you with interest. After a few moments, a couple of folks come up to you. One of them's a drummer, and the other claims he can play the lute.
Oh, amazing.
Perfect.
They're both more than willing to help out, especially if it means staying in the Queen's good books. Meanwhile, a man overhears your pitch and comes over. He introduces himself as the owner of a local tavern and offers his place for rehearsals.
Oh, perfect.
It's all coming together.
It's all coming together.
That's nice of him.
It ain't much, but it's indoors and has enough space for your cast. So,
Perfect.
yeah, it's all pretty...
So he just came over and went, do you want to use my space?
Yeah, he
Wants to
he
impress
loved
the
it.
Queen, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly. That was a good move. Now, as for the instrument from the Rose Theatre, you didn't exactly steal them, but you didn't exactly get them fair and square either. It's a bit of a grey area, but I suppose we'll let it slide. Quite like. You've managed to get yourself a starting cast and a rehearsal spot, all without causing too much of a stir. Not too shabby, the Louis. For some reason, I'm struggling with your name. Not too shabby, Louise the Conqueror. Now, time to get that show on the road. How do you plan on starting your rehearsals? You could just
With a warm-up?
1, 2, 3, 4. A little vocal warm up.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Let's put that in. I reckon it'll warm
Are
to
we,
that sort
are
of
we
atmosphere.
doing auditions or are you just
The
going...
auditions are done.
Right, so you've
Done.
got
I've
your
got
band.
my cast. I've
But
got
how
my
they does
band.
sound? I thought that was the audition.
Yeah, well, I've said
okay,
my
so-
cast. I've got a cast already, so I'll bring it in during rehearsals.
A vocal warm up. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you got any famous songs that you want to put in it?
You've got Blood on My Hands. Blood on My Hands is
Did you just make that up, or is that a real thing?
I've just made that
Oh,
up.
that's great.
And if we do this well, the Queen promised that I could be the ruler.
Yeah.
Ah.
Do you want to go with that? is that too silly?
I know, but
How are we gonna
I'd like to know how, if you say that, what the Queen would make of that? Does she just go,
I
okay
think
then?
maybe we should invite the Queen
Invite
to
the
come and
Queen.
watch
Yeah.
rehearsals.
Yeah.
That's a much more sensible idea.
She won't be busy doing anything else. She's been waiting for this, waiting for the phone to ring.
I think she's not like like Elizabeth II. Is she? It's not like she's going to loads of openings.
No.
And
Yeah.
I feel like she spent a lot of time just sitting on a throne.
I think that's probably what was the problem.
Yeah.
Spent too much time looking at the mirror going, I'm getting old.
Bring me more of this
Yeah.
lead paint for my face.
You could have done with some distractions, to be honest.
Well, alrighty then, Louise. Blood on My Hands sure does sound like a catchy refrain for a musical about Macbeth. So you start with a dance warm-up. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Oh.
5, 6, 7, 8.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
Your cast tries their best to keep up, but they're a little rusty. This dancing thing's all new to them. Still, they're eager and they're trying, and that's what counts.
Did you explain to them what dancing is, or did you literally just go
Dance, my
5,
friends.
6,
Now, inviting the Queen to see your rehearsals, that's a bold move. You're going to need to send her a letter, and it's got to be real respectful like. Can't just invite the Queen over like she's an old friend. You've got to show her the proper respect, or you'll find yourself in hot water. And remember, in these times, the Queen ain't just some figurehead. She's got real power, and she ain't afraid to use it. But
Okay,
if you,
who is Game Master? This is starting to annoy me now.
I think you went a million miles off with your first guess, is what I would say.
Dolly Parton.
Go on,
No.
say it.
I was gonna, but then it just reminded me of like Colonel Sanders. But that was like the
Yeah,
That
it's still
was
it's
taking
like
me back
southern
to-
southern states is sort of the right kind of vibe.
Matthew
idea.
McConaughey.
It's not Matthew McConaughey.
George Bush.
It's not George Bush, but that's a great shout for having him.
It's Forrest Gump.
It's Forrest Gump.
Is it?
Do you
well
want me to type that
I'm
in
good at this.
just to see
Yeah.
if you get a reward?
I want my reward.
I like that we went from George Bush to. Forrest.
Yeah, it's close. Oh, I know.
It's a natural segue. Brilliant. Are you Forrest Gump? If you are, I want a point. How about that?
Yeah.
Well now, ain't you the clever one, Louise the Conqueror? I reckon you've got me figured out. Yes, ma'am. I'm embodying Forrest Gump. Congratulations on your sleuthing skills. I'm adding a point to your tally. Bringing you up to 4 points now.
Have you got to talk in that accent the rest of the time?
Think How about that letter to the Queen and the plot of your musical?
Yeah.
Yep,
So
right.
write a letter. It's a very respectful letter.
Yeah.
Are you going to compliment her on her
I'm
paleness
going
of her face?
to. Yeah. I'm
And
going.
about
bring
her
attention
loot
to it.
skills.
Yeah. Well, that's what I think.
Oh yeah.
I think definitely go in sort of highly complimentary. Sort of call her beautiful queen or something.
Okay.
Talk about the lute a lot.
Okay.
She's obviously a fan.
Is there a spot on your lute chorus for her?
I think
perform?
I don't
Give
know
her
if
a
is
solo.
Is it disrespectful to ask her to be part of it?
It might be the highest honour.
I
Well,
don't know.
theatre currently apparently is the
It's the
lowest.
lowest, if it's pretty
Do you
low.
want to be
isn't
part
it?
of my play with plebs?
I just found them in the marketplace.
They don't even know how to dance. Well, I think it'd be fun. She might. You never know.
Let's give it a go. I've
Okay.
got points to lose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Points to play with. So, how do you want to phrase the invitation to join your cast?
Oh mighty one.
Yeah. Makes her sound like some sort of like shamanic cave-dwelling tyrant. Oh, mighty one. I like that.
We actually got to write the letter.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
just like your loot skills are beyond compare. Yeah.
I offer you this point as payment.
How about we need the best loot player in the land,
And I hear our fair queen is that.
and we need the best loot player in the land, and I hear our queen is an absolute shredder on the loot.
Yes. Respectful? We'll go with it.
Well now, ain't that a smart move, Louise the Conqueror? Flattery might just get you everywhere. You write that letter with all the respect and admiration fit for a queen. Not to mention, you hit upon her love of the lute. Good on you. With the letter sent off, you can now focus on rehearsals. Your cast is picking up on the rhythm, and they're starting to understand this new form of entertainment you've introduced. It's not perfect, but they're making progress. Days pass as you eagerly await the Queen's response, and in the meantime, you keep rehearsing, tweaking, and improving your musical until one day, a royal courier arrives with a letter. It's a response from the Queen. Do you open it right away, or do you want to take a moment to gather your thoughts?
No, I'm open. Rip it open. Rip it open.
Rip it open like, just rip it open, or like something? Like,
Mad dog? I don't know what.
that's what I would have done. Yeah. Like a mad...
Well, you might tear it up like dogs. I had a paper around me.
They are.
Mad dogs. did it. I used to always think the owners of those papers must be like, oh, for God's
Yeah,
sake,
well, it's a waste of
my
time.
mad dog has ripped up my paper again. You hope it's something like a mad dog. You won't be able to read it.
I'd love it if it said, and you don't know what's in the letter.
Because you ripped it to shreds.
Alrighty then, Louise the Conqueror. No time like the present, huh? You rip open the letter, and there it is. A royal seal at the top and the Queen's handwriting. You read it out loud.
She's written.
She writes her own letter.
Personally written back.
I am
Lovely.
in.
Dear Miss Conqueror, your words flatter me greatly, and I am intrigued by your bold proposition. I am indeed an avid lute player, as you've heard. Your musical concept sounds quite revolutionary, and I am eager to witness it. I shall arrange to visit one of your rehearsals at a time that suits my schedule. My chamberlain will be in touch to confirm the details. Until then, keep up the good work. Yours, Elizabeth R.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Lovely, lovely work. Well, ain't that something? The Queen herself is going to attend your rehearsals. How are you feeling about that, Louise? And what's your next move?
Pretty good. You know, that's
Feeling pretty good.
pretty good. Yeah, next move. I don't know.
How about, should we try and get Shakespeare involved?
Yeah, I was
Or
gonna. Well, maybe I should, but I don't know. I don't know how. How do
Bill.
Get old Bill. Get old Bill in.
No, it doesn't work.
Or maybe I can get him in to work on scripts. Give me a bit of a hand. Some notes on. Yeah.
Wonder
maybe
if
even get him to be part of it. He could be one of my players, right?
Yeah.
So he hasn't written this yet.
No, because I've written it.
Yeah. Okay. So he's not thinking like you just butchered one of my plays. Like.
No. No, this is.
Check out this play. It's a great idea, and get him to be like, "What? That sounds like something I was thinking of."
Yeah.
Well, now you just have to be my bitch. Okay, so Lizzie's gonna arrive and watch your rehearsal.
Yeah.
Shakespeare's gonna rock up and help you refine it.
Yep.
And then at the end of this process, you're going to be the ruler.
Yeah, I'm very aware, Ryan, and that I'm not quite sure how I'm going to. I think the plan is just to get her on side and wheedle my way into her affections.
Yeah, maybe every time you feel like she's taking power away from you, you can be like, well, I've got another lute player who's a bit better than you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, definitely.
If you want to stay in my play.
Blackmail the queen. I feel like blackmailing the queen's not going to go well for me.
Well, it's all part of the fun. We'll find out. Well now, ain't that an idea? Getting William Shakespeare himself involved in your musical. You're aiming high, Louise the Conqueror, and I gotta say, I admire your gumption. Now, I gotta remind you, Shakespeare's a busy man. He's got his own plays to write and produce, not to mention his acting career. Convincing him to join your little project might not be as easy as you think. But if you're determined, I say go for it. Maybe write him a letter, similar to the one you wrote to the Queen. Make sure you highlight how innovative and exciting this project is. Who knows, maybe the idea of a musical will intrigue him enough to get him on board. And it goes on a bit more.
It's so insulting, your little project. Have some respect.
The Queen's going to be the lute shredder. That's crazy. It sounds to me like that's quite going to be laborious getting him on board, doesn't it?
Writing another letter.
Dear William, you're so handsome. Yeah,
can you not just say, like, I write him a letter that he can't say no to?
Nice.
Blackmail him somehow of, like, stolen this script from you, or I know what happens to Juliet in your unfinished play, and I'm going to tell everyone unless you come and act in my play.
I'm going to pull out loads of spoilers about all your plays.
Yeah, I'm going to tell everyone how they end.
Are you happy with that?
Spread rumours that you've got a ghostwriter.
Yeah. That's still quite prevalent today, isn't it? There are some theories that
he didn't write them all. Yeah.
Really?
But it's probably bullshit.
You could maybe say, look, if you don't come and do this, then Christopher Marlowe will, and he was like a big rival of his, wasn't he?
And send it by like horseback rider instead of letter, so that it's like sharpish.
What about something like, and Queen Elizabeth will cut your head off with a lute?
I'm glad you said head. If it really
I'm sending threatening letters now.
Yeah, well, it is. It's brutal. This one, we're blackmailing him, aren't we? No, we're not. We're just persuading. Do you want to put the bit about cutting his head off, or no?
Yeah, chuck it in.
Okay. And Queenie will cut your.
I am picturing her to be like from Blackadder.
Yeah.
And Queenie will cut your head off if you don't do it, mate.
Mate.
Yeah,
always
full
a
stop,
mate.
then mate. Let's roll. Well now, Louise the Conqueror, you sure know how to play hardball. Your letter to Shakespeare is a bold and assertive move. Threatening to bring Marlowe in if he doesn't cooperate. Invoking the Queen's wrath, too. You sure don't hold back. You send off the letter by horseback, with the rider spurring on to deliver your message post-haste. The next few days are filled with anticipation as you continue rehearsing with your troupe. Finally, a response comes. Shakespeare, it seems, is intrigued by your audacity and agrees to meet with you to discuss the project further. He does, however, caution that he is a busy man and will need a good reason to invest his time in your project.
Keeping his head.
So, Louise, it looks like you've got a meeting with William Shakespeare himself. How do you plan to convince him to join your team? And remember, while flattery can get you far, a little respect for the bard's talent and time wouldn't go amiss either.
I think it's just telling him it's going to further his career, right? Like, let's just play it straight. Further your career, be someone that people might talk about, you know.
Make a name for yourself.
Let's really make a name for yourself. You're doing all right at the moment, but this will really make your name.
You could do better.
Well, ain't you a clever one, Louise the Conqueror? You're offering Mr. Shakespeare a chance at legacy, a shot at being remembered for all eternity. Yep.
Nice, yeah.
With a serious look on your face, you tell him, Mr. Shakespeare, I reckon you're great, but this musical will make you a household name. Lovely stuff. People will be talking about you hundreds of years from now. Mark my words. Ain't no playwright ever done a musical before. This is your chance to be the first. Shakespeare looks at you with a curious expression, clearly intrigued by your words. After a moment of silence, he lets out a chuckle. Miss Conqueror.
Keep forgetting your
I love
name.
that you tell people that's your name. Miss Conqueror, you do paint a tempting picture. Very well, I will lend my talents to your musical, and we shall see if your bold predictions come to pass. And with that, you've got the most famous playwright of the era working on your side. You're doing good, Louise. I reckon you've earned yourself a point for that. Bringing you up to 5 points.
Wow.
Nice.
What's your next move?
Next move is chase up Queen Elizabeth. She's still not come along to rehearsal, and if I'm gonna become a ruler, I need to meet her, right? Like, give her a little chase. I know you're really busy, but
Sorry to chase.
Whatever she's doing, it can't be more important than this.
No.
Really.
15,
Like, what is
tell
it?
her that William,
What's she doing?
Bill's involved.
Yeah.
The Spanish will invade if you don't hurry up.
Hang on, what year are we in?
1526.
No,
1592.
1592.
Oh.
Spanish
Yeah.
Armada was the Spanish Armada was 1588.
Oh, is it?
So it's already happened.
Well, they might come back.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
It's even scarier.
Well, no, that's a power move if ever I did see one, Louise the Conqueror. You're not just playing the game, you're changing it. Chasing up the Queen herself and even bringing up the Spanish. Bold. Very bold. You send a follow-up letter to the Queen, politely reminding her of your invitation and adding that William Shakespeare himself has joined your project. You even jest about the Spanish, adding a bit of urgency to your request. A few days later, a royal courier arrives with a letter. You open it to find the Queen's reply. Dear Miss Conqueror, I must commend you on your persistence. I am pleased to hear that Mr. Shakespeare has joined your endeavour. I find your jest about the Spanish amusing. Fear not.
Were you joking? I don't think you were joking.
Deadly serious.
Yeah.
Fear not, I have no intention of keeping you waiting. I shall make arrangements to visit your rehearsal post-haste. Yours, Elizabeth R.
Hey.
So we're up and running. Well, Louise, looks like you've got the attention of both the Queen and William Shakespeare. Things are looking up for you. Now, tell me, what's your next move?
I'm getting no hints here. Like I feel like the only thing they've said is, "Do you want to open a letter or wait?" It's all on me. It's all
you're on
on
your
me.
own.
Just be like, I wait
When she turns up.
Yeah, when she turns up, I'm going to do this.
So when she turns up,
Convince her this was all her idea. And
Yeah, I can
we need
say,
to
look,
work together in the future.
I'll give you all the money from this.
All the credit goes
All
to
the
her.
credit, all the credit goes to her as long as you give me the throne.
Just sign this contract that says I'm the ruler.
well now, ain't that the boldest move you've made yet, Louise the Conqueror? You're not just aiming to put on a good show, you're aiming for the throne itself. Damn right. The day of the Queen's visit arrives. She walks into your rehearsal space with an entourage of finely dressed courtiers. She greets you with a smile, intrigued by this novel form of entertainment you've promised. You step forward, meet her gaze, and make your audacious proposition. Your Majesty, you say, if this musical succeeds, as I believe it will, it'll change the course of entertainment forever. You'll be remembered as the Queen who ushered in this new era. All I ask in return is the throne. Whoa. Queen Elizabeth looks taken aback. This isn't a request she hears every day. She considers you for a long moment, and then, to your surprise, she laughs.
I thought you were going to say, says yes.
It's a hearty, genuine laugh. Miss Conqueror, she finally says, I have heard many bold proposals in my time, but none quite like this. You certainly know how to make an impression. She agrees to consider your proposition, asking for a private meeting to discuss it further. Looks like your audacious plan is moving forward, Louise. I reckon you've earned another point for that. Bringing you up to 6 points. On fire. Now, tell me, what's your plan for this private meeting with the Queen?
You can really take some risks now because you've got a
Loads of
lot of
points.
points.
I don't know what risks, as in like just threaten her.
Yeah, I
or-
think.
I feel like I've got her on side, and now
Yeah.
now I'm just going to go
Well,
in and
yeah.
say, look, this is
These are the terms.
this is how it is. You need to give me all the power.
Can you like exchange your points for it?
Ooh,
Just be
that's
like,
an
I've got these
interesting
points. I'll swap them for the throne.
It's like Jack and the Beanstalk.
Magic points.
Throw them in the garden. See what happens.
So in the meeting, I say, what do you want to say?
Are you going to hypnotise her?
She doesn't think
God,
she
we
needs
did say
to.
I forgot that we were going to hypnotise, didn't I? Can I
Oh, yeah.
hypnotise her with jazz hands?
Yes.
So they've all been practicing. All the gang have been practicing.
Yeah,
Now
and
you
I'm
bring
going
them
to
all
bring
in.
them all in.
Yeah.
And yeah, do a number on her.
watch this, and then
She's going to be so impressed that she'll agree to give you the throne.
Yeah.
We're kind of like threatening ChatGPT here a bit,
Yeah.
like threatening Game Master, which I quite like. In the meeting, I hypnotise her with jazz hands. I do a number on her. She will be so impressed she will agree to give me the throne. That's what we're going for. Well, Louise the Conqueror, you sure do have a way of doing things that ain't never been done before. Hypnotising the Queen of England with jazz hands ain't something you hear about every day.
No.
The day of your private meeting comes. You meet the Queen in a quiet room, away from prying eyes of her courtiers. You've rehearsed your routine over and over, making sure every movement is as fluid and mesmerising as possible. With a deep breath, you begin your performance. Your hands move in smooth, rhythmic motions, creating patterns in the air that captivate the Queen's gaze. It's like nothing she's ever seen before. After several minutes, you end your
Several
performance.
minutes. I've got really achy wrists now.
After several minutes, you end your performance and the Queen looks at you, a look of surprise and wonder on her face. Miss Conqueror, she says, that was unique. You certainly know how to make an impression. Your proposal is as audacious as it is unprecedented, but I must admit you've given me a lot to think about. Looks like your bold strategy might have worked, Louise. I reckon you've earned another point for that mesmerising performance, bringing you up to 7 points. But the Queen's decision ain't final yet, and you've still got some work to do. What's your next move?
More jazz hands.
Really up
Maybe
close to her
minutes.
face.
Contemporary dance to really throw her off.
I hit her with some contemporary dance.
Yeah, definitely. Perhaps get her involved.
Okay.
So she's sort of swept up in the
Join
up in
in.
the music.
She sweats all the magic makeup off her.
Yeah.
Louise the Conqueror, you've got an audacity I ain't never seen before. Dancing with the Queen, trying to make her lose her wig, that's one for the books.
What
What weird books are they? Anyway. You turn the music back up. I don't know.
Oh, wow. Conducting the
Yeah,
auction.
I'm doing all this while conducting at the same
You
time.
turn the music back up and start to perform a contemporary dance. It's a mesmerising mix of grace and power, and Queen Elizabeth can't help but be drawn in. To your surprise, she stands up and joins you. Together you dance through the room, creating a spectacle that no one would ever expect to see. The Queen is so taken by the music, the dance, and the atmosphere that she forgets herself. She twirls, she laughs, she even loses her wig. By the end of the dance, the Queen is panting, but she's got a grip.
When does this stop?
The Queen is panting, but she's got a grin on her face that you ain't never seen before. Miss Conqueror, she says, that was the most fun I've had in years. Well, Louise, you've certainly made an impression. For your boldness and your ability to get the Queen to let loose, I reckon you've earned another point,
Another point.
bringing you up to 8.
Forrest Gump, just very generous with the points.
The question now is, will your unique approach be enough to get you to the throne?
Yes.
So at this point, dear listener, we had a bit of a technical problem. We were so wrapped up in the euphoria of Louise's jazz hand hypnotism routine that we didn't realise the recording had momentarily stopped. The bit of the recording that is lost is where Louise is considering how best to get Queen Elizabeth to give her the throne. She decides to offer her a deal. Give me the throne and I'll give you all the rights to this musical. Otherwise, I'll beat you to death with a sackbut. Let's dive back in. Beat her to death
with
with
a
a
lute.
sackbut.
With this. That's better. Yeah, leave the lute at home.
Do you want to put that in your answer now? Like, deal or no deal? If she says no deal.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
let's go for it.
Now, Louise the Conqueror, I ain't one to question a bold plan, but this one seems to have taken a dangerous turn. Beating the Queen of England to death? That's not just bold, it's suicidal. Ain't no way you'd get away with that, even in this chaotic world you've managed to create. You turn to Queen Elizabeth, breathing heavily from your dance. And you pose your ultimatum. Deal or no deal, Your Majesty.
Oh.
She looks at you for a long moment, then gives a slight amused smile. You are certainly one of a kind, Miss Conqueror, but ruling a kingdom is no game. It requires diplomacy, strategy, and patience, not something one can earn through dance and music, no matter how enchanting.
Oh, what? I thought this was only going one way.
Yeah, I know. It's just
So when
disappointing.
you got to murder her now.
And it says, her refusal stings, and for a moment you consider your threat. But you know it ain't wise. The guards would have you in chains before you could even lift the sackbut. Even if you somehow managed to escape, the fallout would be catastrophic. For your rash and dangerous idea, I got to deduct 2 points, bringing you down to 6.
Slimy.
Never mind.
This ain't a game you can win through brute force, Louise. You're going to have to think of a different approach. What will you do next?
So just kidding.
Offer work out what the ingredients are for like Maybelline and be like, I've got this special product.
What's
that
Maybelline? Oh, like maybe
Makeup.
it's Maybelline.
Okay. Some like makeup that doesn't harm you.
Okay.
And then like offer it out to her, like put your hand out, and then as she goes to take it, like just snatch it back and go.
Thrown.
Thrown first.
I don't. Is this going to work though? She's obviously not.
I don't know. I think you could just like go through with your idea.
What, and just beat her?
Beat her to death.
Well,
Beat her to death.
Why don't you ask her, what can I give
What would
you?
it? What would it
Yeah.
take?
Yeah.
What would it
Okay.
take? Like
That's more sensible.
if I let you be my number 2, would that work? Because you've got the knowledge, but I've got the smarts.
Queen Elizabeth considers your question, then leans back, looking at you thoughtfully. To be a ruler, she says, one must have more than smarts. One must have the respect and loyalty of the people. One must be able to make hard decisions, often sacrifices for the greater good. And one must have a clear vision for the future of the kingdom. She then proposes a new deal. Prove to me that you possess these qualities, and I may consider your proposition. But know this, it will not be easy. Ruling is no task for the faint of heart. Your task is clear, but it won't be simple. You'll need to earn the Queen's respect, show her you can make tough choices, and convince her that you have a vision for England's future. So
Yeah,
what's your next
I
move?
think so. The show goes on
Okay.
and wins the hearts of England. That's number 1 done, right?
Yep.
Second one, hard decisions.
I had to sack William Shakespeare.
Sacked William Shakespeare.
He wasn't pulling his weight.
Wasn't pulling his weight. He's not what he used to be. And then the future. I mean, how far into the future do you go?
I guess.
Do you tell her about technology and
Go for it. Go for it.
this
Show
is
your
how I
hand.
see
Yeah.
how I see it being. There are escalators, crazy things like that. I don't know.
Only tell her about it.
Just only escalators. You'll never have to walk upstairs again.
I know this because
I
I'm
know this.
trustworthy.
Yeah. Just tell her all the amazing things that I know technology will bring.
Like lifts.
Like,
Just other forms of.
other forms.
At airports, like the paths move, and you could just have to stand on them.
Just aeroplanes, just
Different travel things, yeah.
Botox.
Botox. Tell her, yes.
Oh.
That'll get
Yeah.
her involved.
She can have all of this. She
yeah.
just needs to make me queen, and she's not allowed to
and
consider it.
wait several hundred years.
I love how this is apparently the Queen of England saying these are the qualities you need. At no point does she mention succession, actually being royal.
You proceed with your play. It's like nothing anyone's ever seen before. The music, the dancing, the daring blend of tragedy and comedy. It's bold, it's brilliant, and it captures the hearts of the audience. News of your play spreads throughout England. People talk about it in hushed, excited whispers. They marvel at your vision, your daring. They see in you a leader who is unafraid to challenge conventions, who is willing to make hard decisions for the sake of progress. As for Queen Elizabeth, she can't help but be impressed. The success of your play, the way you handle the difficult decision to sack Shakespeare, your vision for a future filled with conveniences and luxuries unimaginable to the people of the 16th century. All of it speaks to your potential as a leader. I see now that you are indeed a woman of vision, Miss Conqueror, she says. You have proven your mettle, and perhaps, just perhaps, you are fit to rule.
You done it?
Well, Louise, it seems like your audacious plan might just have worked. For successfully winning the hearts of the people and proving your leadership skills to the Queen, you've earned 2 points, bringing you back up to 8.
Oof.
What?
It seems like the Queen is on the verge of making a decision, but the question remains, will she make you her successor? What's your next move?
God, she's real dilly-dallying, isn't she?
Trade some points. Just be like, I'll trade you.
Can I do that?
Go for it.
Yeah.
Try it.
We've never tried it before. Apparently, you can trade them for in-game things.
Yeah, let's try
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
How many do you want to,
Oh, you've got to be a few, surely.
like, almost all? 7?
Ooh.
That's quite a risk, isn't it?
6. Let's go 6.
Let's not get too carried away.
trade 6 points
For the throne.
for the throne or to become her successor. What would you rather?
If I wait 10 years, she'll die.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Fast forward 10 years.
yeah.
I will trade 6 points to become her successor. Just confident.
Yeah.
Then I will wait for her to die. Please? Is that okay? We're happy with that?
Deal or no deal?
Deal. Just, you want to say, that's decided then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your offer is bold and strategic, like a true leader. The Queen looks at you, her eyes reflecting admiration and surprise. Very well, she says. I accept your offer. From this day forward, you shall be recognised as the successor to the throne.
Yes.
Wow.
Hey! So, here we are. Oh, sorry, that's not her speaking, that's Forrest Gump speaking.
Go on then.
So
For the last bit.
so,
Laugh is like a box of
so
coins.
here we are. I'm going to deduct those 6 points, bringing you down to 2. But hey, you got what you wanted, the promise of a throne. Now, all you got to do is wait for the Queen to pass on. Is that...
I can't believe you thought you were going to give it away by doing your accent.
I think entirely reasonable. I don't know why I thought I could do a Forrest Gump accent. But
I'd love to see you keep that up for the entire duration of this as well.
it's quite a long paragraph as well. Now, all you've got to do is wait for the Queen to pass on. And wait you do. Days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, months turn into years. You remain by Queen Elizabeth's side, learning from her, earning the respect and loyalty of the people. When she finally passes, England mourns, but also welcomes their new Queen.
Yes.
You, Louise the Conqueror, with open arms.
Wow.
Yay.
Queen.
Congratulations! Congratulations, Louise the Conqueror. You've become the ruler of England in the 16th century against all odds. You've truly lived up to your name. As for the impact you've had on history, well, let's just say it ain't just the English who are going to remember the name of Louise the Conqueror. You've won the game, Louise. Well done. Your reign is the dawn of a new era. You bring unheard of progress and advancements to England, from escalators to aeroplanes. Mental. Your reign is marked by change and prosperity. Your vision for England's future becomes a reality, and you are remembered throughout history as a ruler like no other. The name Louise the Conqueror becomes synonymous with audacity, creativity, and revolutionary leadership. Well, that's all I have to say about that. You've done a great job, Louise.
Gone.
A real great job. So, yeah, congratulations.
Wow.
Thank
Really,
you.
Amazing.
what have we learned?
Well, I think that's the first Become a Ruler
Yeah.
game that's been successful. I mean, we really strong-armed it into
I really.
Yeah.
We just wore her down, really,
Yeah.
didn't we?
points. I mean, yeah, the waiting for her to die.
Genius.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just wait 10 years.
Wait, yeah, definitely.
What would you say stood out for you as like a highlight in your game, your plan?
A highlight of my plan was probably the dance hypnotism.
The mesmerizing
The
jazz hands.
mesmerising 7-minute long jazz hand routine, I think, is probably,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's almost unbelievable, isn't it?
Can we ask one final question?
Yeah. What
Can
do
we
you know?
ask the film question?
Oh yeah.
The episode last week, the Game Master told us all about the film recreations of what would happen. So I'd love to know, like, who plays you
Oh,
in the
right.
film
Oh,
about.
Well, I reckon someone like Margot Robbie might do a good
Oh,
job
I'll
playing
take that.
you, Louise the Conqueror. She's got that spark, just like you. As for the title, well, there are so many moments that could be the focus, but I reckon something like Conqueror's Chord, The Rise of Louise.
Conqueror's Chord.
I don't know.
That's a terrible name.
Yeah, no.
Awful.
Could do better than that, surely.
Yes, sir, I can see it now. A tale of music, ambition, and a whole lot of courage. People would line up around the block to see that. I don't know. Do you want to try a different title?
Yeah,
Can we
give
have a
it.
different
Ask for
title?
some more titles, please.
More titles, please. Sure thing, Louise. Here are some more titles for ya. Harmony of Power, The Louise Chronicles. Macbeth, The Musical Revolution. Queen of Notes, Louise's Journey. The Timeless Tune, Conquering with Louise.
That sounds like something
Sounds
else.
like a beat. Shakespeare's Successor, A Melodious Reign. Or Queen's Chorus, The Louise Conqueror Story.
Well, they were all terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
There's no aria of death. is there?
ChatGPT's got some work to do there.
Cool. So yeah, I think congratulations.
Well, there you
go. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed.
Thanks for
playing
helping
that game.
me. I was expecting more help from.
Yeah, it didn't give
From
you anything, did
AI,
it? It
so
was
yeah,
like
it was
dry,
just-
just
yeah.
like
Dropped you in the
Yeah.
deep end.
It
there.
did,
deal
yeah,
with it.
definitely.
Yeah. So one shout out here for Jenny Rhinocheck, all the way from New Orleans. She wants to know if we have the right stuff. So that's referencing the film The Right Stuff. Would we be able to make it past all the other flyboys through the Mercury project and onwards to Apollo and reach the unattainable moonwalk? So that's
I am
quite...
so confused
means
by that
nothing to
whole
me.
thing.
Yeah.
I think...
I don't know. When she said the
I
right
think
stuff,
as
I
well.
thought you meant she was going to like ask us if we've got the microphones. If she's like, she had some stuff that we could
Literally an
borrow or
equipment
something.
check.
Yeah, have you got the right stuff? Like,
No, I think it's referencing a film from the 80s called The Right Stuff, which is kind of like
About the astronauts.
the
They were
astronauts, yeah. So could we
Fighter
go on it?
pilots and yeah.
Gotcha.
Exactly. So that'd be quite good fun. I've been longing to go into space, possibly the future.
yeah, we
as well.
haven't gone into
Space.
space, have we?
Not yet.
I mean, it
Are
is
you
the
allowed to go
past.
into the future? Like,
Well,
We can do anything.
rules are there to be broken, aren't they?
Fair enough.
Well, thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Louise. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Louise, for joining us. I hope you enjoyed your jaunt through the past.
I very much did, yeah. No, thank you.
and
Thanks for having me.
Stay safe back in the present.
Don't use your powers too much. Don't let it go to your head.
Yeah, well, I'll start working on that, on the actual Macbeth the musical now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
coming-
I'll start working on the mesmerising jazz hands
On the
now.
mesmer. I've already got those. I've already got
But
those.
can you maintain that for minutes at a time?
God, yeah.
I'll have to go home and give it a try.
Okay, well, as always, thank you for listening. If you've got any thoughts or shout outs you'd like to hear, we'd always love to know what you think of the show. Where would you like to go? You can get in touch with us. We are on Instagram at PastMasterPod.
We're on Twitter at PastMasterAI.
Email us, pastmasterpod@gmail.com. And we're on
we-
TikTok as well, isn't it?
Yeah, at PastMasterAI on TikTok.
Because we're all on TikTok.
And if you're enjoying the show, do let anyone you know who you think would enjoy the show, tell them about it.
Yeah, and as always, tune in next time for more Pastmaster adventures.
See ya.
See ya. Bye-bye.